Okay, so we're going to move on to practice problem number 4. This is with Sean and Stacy Graham. Again, here's the intake from the book and what will be entered onto the main information screen. This problem has everything that was covered in this section for the basic, and so we're going to go through everything line by line and then go into the form entries. You can see that the correct answer is 10,596 for a refund. And we'll turn to the page 1 of the 1040. Correct filing status, married filing jointly. They're going to have 5 exemptions, 2 personal and 3 dependent. The wages equals 35,816. Taxable interest 227. Dividends of 190. Taxable amount of the pension 12,500. Social Security benefits taxable amount of 10,965. Gambling winnings of 1,000, equaling a total income of 60,698, which is out of scope for our program. So just ignore that. We'll go down here to the adjustments. Penalty on early withdrawal of savings, $55. Alimony paid, $3,000. Student loan interest, $500. Creating an AGI of 57,143. Okay, itemized deductions equals 19,646. And so we have all of their exemptions there. Taxable income, tax liability, 1783. Go down to the non-refundable credits, child and dependent care expenses, 125. Education credits, 1,658. Total credits. Federal income tax withholdings, 8,596. Additional child tax credit and American Opportunity Credit, each of 1,000, creating a total refund of 10,596. So we'll just go through the forms one by one. Here are the socials for all of the dependents and the taxpayers, and the direct deposit information. We'll come back to the notes at the end. And we'll just start with this first W-2 for Stacy. And you can see that we did have to check this box to take the calculations off lines 3, 4, 5, and 6. And so that is something to pay attention to. And then also in boxes for 12, we had to make those entries and check the retirement plan. So I'll just let this pause for a second so you can make sure that your answers line up. And so we have Sean Graham's W-2. And there's not much to pay attention to specifically here. We didn't have to override anything, and we didn't have to enter anything in other than the first lines. All right, interest income. Again, on the Schedule B, we'll just go right to the interest statement. And here's where we enter the early penalty and the federal withholdings. Dividends also links to the Schedule B. Here's the dividend statement. So this one's really straightforward, just these 2 entries. Sean and Stacy did not itemize their taxes last year, but received a refund from the State Department of Revenue in the amount of $540. They want to know if it is taxable. Okay, we'll get to that. So let's just take a look on the 1040. Since we're on this question, we might as well just address it. So you can see that we didn't include that there. We hit no. Did you itemize your deductions last year? And so it wasn't needed to be entered. Pensions and annuities. Let's go to the 1099-R. You can see that entries were made on lines 1, 2, and 4, code 7 in box 7, 9B entered, and the employer information. Social Security benefits. We'll go to the 1040, worksheet 1. Here's where we entered the 12,900 for Sean. Gambling winnings. Go to the W2G. And not too many items to be entered here. So Sean received the 1099 interest with a penalty amount charged to him. This amount is deductible as an adjustment. That was already flowed right from the interest statement. Sean paid his ex-wife Elaine $250 each month in alimony. So here's her social. So we actually enter this right on the 1040, one of the rare entries that go directly onto the 1040 and don't flow from another form. You'll see that we entered that her social down here, the first three, and then the user ID and the amount. Again, it's 250 times 12. And Stacy paid $500 in interest on student loans, so we don't have the form. That doesn't matter. We can enter that right on the 1040 worksheet 2. And you'll see that's where we entered the 500. All right, so itemized deductions. We'll go through each of these and you can see what is included and what's not. We'll turn to the Schedule A. So $5,275 worth of medical and dental expenses. That doesn't flow in, and again, we'll turn to this so you can see a closer look of what we did include, just for your own knowledge sake, when we look at the gifts to charity and what was included there on the Schedule A detail. So both of those are found on the Schedule A, but we'll see the taxes paid. You didn't have to enter anything there. Real estate taxes would have been your next entry after the medical and dental expenses. Mortgage interest paid, $5,656. Gifts to charity, $7,550. So we'll take a look at the details. All right, we had the insurance premiums for medical, hospital bills, doctor bills, prescriptions, and insulin. But again, it didn't add up to contribute to the itemized deductions total. And we had the church gift of $7,550. All right, the next thing would have been unreimbursed employee expenses, $875. Safety deposit box of $150. And again, this didn't end up making any kind of contribution to the itemized deductions total. Gambling losses we entered on the other deductions worksheet of $1,000. So a very straightforward entry here. And that brings us to the total. $19,646 for itemized deductions. So again, to get the list of what is deductible and what's not, go to your publication 17. There's a section under itemized deductions for medical and dental expenses, as well as mortgage interest, things that have to do with the other items listed here. So credit for child and dependent care expenses. Sean and Stacy paid $625. Let's turn to the form 2441. That would automatically pop up by checking the box on the main information page. So we'll just turn there quickly. So you see down here, we did check the box for dependent care expenses under Joshua Graham. And so this form would have popped up. And so we enter the Crossroads Childcare, their address, 625. Again, down here, we'd have to enter the 625 because all of it was going to cover the expenses for Joshua. Education credit. Gail paid $800 for a college course to improve her classroom management skills. They want to deduct it. Okay, and here's the information. They also have the information for Jeremy. And so we're going to have to make 2 entries here. So the first one is going to be for Jeremy, Clark University. He's going to qualify for the American Opportunity Credit. And these are the only entries you need to make. They flow onto the 1040 page 2 automatically from your entries here on the 8863. All right, we'll turn to Stacy's education expenses. Oh, let's see. Oh, Gail, I'm sorry. It's for Gail's expenses. Since she is one of their dependents, they can include this on their tax return. So here's the information for Gail. She's going to qualify for the lifetime learning credit. So we're going to put no, she wasn't included half-time, at least one academic period. And so there's not too much to enter, just the university information and then the $800 here at the bottom. Retirement savings contribution credit. You don't have to actually enter anything here directly because it flows from the W-2. The only thing you do need to do is turn to the 8880 and just take a look. There's one question that you would have to answer here. Was the taxpayer or the spouse a full-time student in 2013? Both of those are going to be no, and then you don't actually have to enter anything here. You could do the override. We're not going to go over that, but they didn't have any other total distributions, so we'll just leave those as 0. The child tax credit does compute automatically for us. Earned income credit. By checking the earned income credit boxes like we did for the child and dependent care expenses on page 1 of the main info screen. Here for Joshua and Jeremy, the schedule EIC would pop up for us as well as the worksheet. So Joshua is under age 19, so we didn't have to enter anything here. Jeremy is a full-time student, under age 24, so we just checked yes there. And then when we get to the worksheet, we'll see why they did not get the credit. Again, here are some answers we did have to address. So down here, if you have 2 qualifying children, it's $51,567 if married filing jointly. Anything above that, you wouldn't get any of the credit. And so that's the reason why that's not flowing into their return. The additional child tax credit does flow automatically, as does the child tax credit. We already made the entries on the 8863, so that would flow for us after we do that. And we entered in their direct deposit info. Okay, so the PINs, I'll just show you that briefly. Depending on how your site coordinator sets it up, you'll enter a PIN to do the electronically filing. And so in this case, I just used pins 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for both of them and put in the dates. And that's all that needs to be done. So let's just scroll back up to the notes, see if we missed anything. There may be something in here. They want to file a joint return. Stacy's a 9th grade teacher. So this information was just letting us know we had to try to figure out if Gail was going to qualify as a dependent, which she did. We have the education credits in there and the direct deposit info. So that should be all that you needed to enter. And so that's how you get the correct answer.